Yeah, we do what is it, common?
Long time since I've seen you in settlement. Out of our house. Tell me, Alex, would you rather You would see her. It's like, oh my God, I just want to be like her. I always
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, we would kindly ask if everyone would please turn off or silence all electronic devices. Thank you.
Mizmor LeDavid, Adonai roi lo echsar, Bino desheya b'tzeini, al mei menuchot yinaleini, Nafshi yishovev, Nafshi yishovev, Yadcheni v'maglei tzedek leman shemo, Gam ki elech v'geit hamavet, lo yirara ki ata imadi, shivtecha umishantecha, shivtecha umishantecha, hema yenachamuni, taroch lefanai shulchan neged tzorirai, dishanta v'Hashem en roshi, kosi revaya, ha'achtov v'chesed, yidefuni kol yemei chayai, v'shavti b'beit Adonai le'orech yamim.
A psalm of David. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures, and leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He guideth me in straight paths for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Thou hast anointed my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I shall dwell in the house of the Lord forever.
Amen.
Eshet chayil nimsa v'rocha minimircha v'batach balat bala v'shalom lo yachzar v'malta tovalora kol yimei chayil. A good wife, a woman of valor, who can find? Her worth is far beyond rubies. The heart of her husband trusts in her, and nothing shall be lack. She renders him good, not evil, all the days of her life. She opens her hand to the needy and extends her hand to the poor. She is robed in strength and dignity, and cheerfully faces whatever may come. She opens her mouth with wisdom, and her tongue is guided by kindness. She tends to the affairs of her household, and eats not the bread of idleness. Her children come forward and bless her. Her husband too, and he praises her. Many women have done superbly, but you surpass them all. For charm is deceitful and beauty is vain, but a God-revering woman is much to be praised. Place before her the fruit of her hands. Wherever people gather, her deeds speak forever her praise.
Thank you, Jeff, for beginning our service so beautifully in tribute to your grandmother and bringing honor to your family with your beautiful voice and the spirit that comes through it in it. And Rabbi Green began his portion of the service with the English translation of the section that Jeff sang so beautifully for us. And then follow that up with the words that are said each and every Friday night in Jewish homes when husbands grateful for the love that they share, rise to bless their brides, their wives, with the words of Eshet Chayil. And today, we are here to remember Rhoda Schwartz, who was truly an Eshet Chayil, a woman of valor, who lived up to all of the criteria, all of the accolades that Rabbi Green listed from the book of Proverbs, and so many more. She was a woman, Rhoda, who carried herself with great dignity and yet had honor and respect for every person she met. Yesterday we sat together and were in the home that you and Rhoda shared for more than 50 years, a home in which your children grew up, a house that when it was built the street wasn't even paved, and you would go out each day to check on its progress, a home that was filled with laughter and light for so many years. As we sat together in your kitchen, I couldn't help but my eyes to wander, and then finally my feet too, to look around, and everywhere you look in that home is decorated with family pictures, wall to wall. In fact, Mort told me there would have been more, but they had to take one wall down to paint it. Eventually, I'm sure it'll find its way back to its pictures. Some of them were pictures that were old reproductions of black and white pictures of time long ago. Some of them were snapshots that were clearly taken very recently. Some formal, some informal. Some of them with pictures of the people who came before, and some of them with the little Kleinigkeit, with the little kids who will be her living legacy for generations to come. Rhoda loved being surrounded by family pictures. She would look at them, she would marvel at them, and think, how could someone who was an only child give rise to all these people, all this large and loving Jewish family? Her own mother came to the United States with her younger siblings as an orphan. She was the youngest, and as a 13-year-old, she took care of her siblings. But Eva went on to marry Ben, and they worked hard to give their one and only child, Rhoda, a better life. And they instilled in her a love of family and a desire to have a family of her own. And apparently, thanks to a certain Mrs. Ryder and a blind date that was arranged, Rhoda met her Bashert, the very handsome Mort Schwartz. And I'm not exaggerating. You look at the pictures of when they were dating, and Mort, you had movie star good looks. So yesterday I saw the pictures, and honestly, the two of you together made a very striking couple. Beautiful, beautiful pictures. And on that first date, Mort told me they saw Steve, Lawrence, and Edie Gourmet. Right, which if you're saying, oh wow, you are of a certain age. In fact, it was so long ago that Edie Gourmet was performing, and Steve Lawrence surprised her coming in his uniform from the war for the two of them to sing together. Now that was a first date. You saw Steve and Edie, but more importantly, you saw a glimpse of your future. The future that would soon be born as the two of you stood under the chuppah 2 years later, and a partnership, a lifelong partnership, was born. And where all anybody had to do, ever, myself included, to understand the meaning of love and what marriage can ultimately be, was to look at the two of you any day. You had a wonderful time together, surrounded by beautiful family and a whole lot of friends. Between the Pioneers Club, which was the club that Mort was in from the time they let him in at his bar mitzvah, until the present day when they still have friends from the Pioneers Club, and the large Schwartz Cousins Club, which if you ever resurrect that will be a lot of cousins. The two of them, the two of you, were always busy, and it was a beautiful time. And you built that beautiful home together and raised children there. Merrill, Shimon, Joel. The three of you know how blessed you were to have parents who loved each other as deeply and unconditionally as your own do. Your parents gave you every opportunity to succeed. They wanted only what was best for you. And part of what I guess they wanted also was that you should have a social life like they did. And so your dad redid the basement. And I heard about those legendary gatherings. All of your friends came together in the basement of your home. Your interests were their interests. Your lives were the center of theirs. And not only social gatherings, but all the Jewish holidays were always at your house. And your mom loved nothing more than being at the center of all of it. So in time, Rhoda saw you start families of your own, welcoming Rebecca, Brady, Adam, a blessed memory, as well as Phyllis, as Rhoda was, for all of you, so easy to love. She made it so easy to come into the family with open arms, her heart wide open. She was non-judgmental, more than tolerant. She was accepting, because if it was good for her children, it was perfect for her. And I know how much each of you looked up to her, and looked out for her, and respected her for the true lady that she was. And then, of course, came the joy of grandchildren, lots of them. And no one enjoyed being a grandma more than yours. She never wanted to be a bubby. Bubbies are for old people. So she didn't want to be an old person. In fact, a little known fact, she passed at the age of 49. She never wanted to be a bubby, but she loved being a grandmother. And she was hands-on. It was the best job she ever had. And she was a woman who worked throughout her life. And I know that she always tried to be there for all of her grandchildren, whether you live close by or not. She wanted the best of everything to be shared with you. So she was at all your major milestones, of course, and all the games and matches and performances. She just loved being around her grandchildren. So just going shopping at Macy's was an outing. Sleepovers, visits to museums. Every moment was more precious when spent with Grandma. There is a reason why she had all those pictures on her wall, because she never tired of looking at all of you. And then her grandchildren found perfect partners for themselves and gave Rhoda lots more simcha, lots more reasons to celebrate, to dance and to have a good time, and nothing made her happier to see 32, almost 33, shot of great-grandchildren. Her mother was an orphan, she was an only child, and 17 grandchildren and 32 great-grandchildren is amazing. Anyhow, indeed, she was a happy person. And being here 25 years, I did have the opportunity to spend a lot of time with you more and with Rhoda. You know how I feel about you. I have made that very plain over the years. I felt the same closeness with your wife as well. And one of the reasons why I always like being with the two of you is because of the love that you share, that I aspire to have in my own life over time. And the fact that you were happy together. And thank God, by the time I came here 25 years ago, you were both retired. And, you know, you enjoyed life. You had time in Florida, you got to travel, you went to England, France, and Italy, and Israel, and other places, and you savored the time that you worked so hard to achieve. And you were blessed to have that time with the woman you love by your side. And in my mind's eye, I guess I speak for everybody here, when you think of Rhoda, you think of a woman who was always well put together, who always, her hair was always perfect, lipstick, makeup, outfit, everything exactly the way she wanted it to be. She had an idea of the way things should look, and she had important self-concept of the way she should look. She treated everyone fairly, with kindness, with compassion, with love. I don't think I ever heard, and I suspect, again, I speak for all of you, I don't think I ever heard Rhoda Schwartz say a bad word about another person. I just don't think, at least in my mind, she was capable. In fact, as I heard yesterday, she was just the opposite. She was your biggest cheerleader. No matter what, if you had any self-doubt whatsoever, call Grandma and she'll make you feel better. If you don't feel like you're the center of the world, all you needed to do was call your grandma and you knew that you were. She was thoughtful, caring, sensitive, and kind. She brought out the best in everyone she met. And that goodness never faded. Unfortunately, her focus did, and it wasn't easy. But I also saw, Mort, how you pushed on ever forward, determined to look out for the woman you loved. And you stayed by her side, and you kept her at home so that she would be surrounded by the familiar, which is so important for people who were in her mental and physical state. And yes, you had help from aides, and yes, you have good neighbors and lifelong friends. And many of them are here. They reached out to help you. But it was the love of family that kept you going and kept her going. Those pictures on the wall were all the reason she needed. They are a reminder of a good life, a happy life, the fruit of her labors and yours. Those walls are full of happy times. And I know that over the past couple of years, some of that physical happiness faded. But I also know the woman we're here to remember. And Rhoda would want to be remembered with a smile on her face, her makeup just right, her hair perfect, always with a kind and encouraging word for another person. That's the way she would want to be remembered. And so her passing does in fact leave a gap in your lives. But the love that you share will continue to sustain you and pull you together. Her physical body may be no more, but her neshama, her spirit, lives in the hearts and homes of everyone who knew and loved her, and always will. So we pray to Hey Nishmata Tzror B'Tzror Chaim, that the soul of Rivka Bat Baral Chava, our beloved Rhoda, be bound in the bond of eternal life, and her memory bless all who knew and loved her forever. Amen. We are going to have the honor of hearing from 3 family members here today. And Leah, I'm going to call you first, please.
When I think of Grandma, I smile. She always had a beautiful smile. And her face used to light up whenever she saw me. She'd give me a big hug, call me her sweetheart, tell me that I'm beautiful. She always asked how I'm doing, with interest and care. Everyone who knew Grandma knew how much she loved her family. She was always talking about her kids and her grandkids. Grandma adored her grandchildren, and she had over 50 of them. And she knew how to make each one of us feel special. Grandma was always supportive of us and wouldn't have done anything for any of us. Brady mentioned how Grandma looked forward to when the grandkids came and always would have special ice cream, chocolate chip ice cream, and pretzels, and how the combination at her house was always the best. Grandma loved to cook. She loved to eat, and she had a sweet tooth for chocolate and ice cream. Grandma was a good cook, making sweet and sour meatballs, matzo ball soup, kugel. It would take her forever. She'd be then she would joke, "Not bad for fast." Grandma was a simple woman who didn't need much. Her family was her priority, and it was them who brought her so much joy. Every time I saw Grandma, her hair was perfect, and she always had lipstick on. She wouldn't be seen without her hair done, and she had a standing appointment every week at the beauty parlor. And before her picture was taken, Grandma would always make us wait until she fixed her lipstick. Grandma was always very respectful of each of her children, and when she used to come to Brooklyn to visit my father, she would dress more orthodox than I did. I remember one time talking to her and telling her it's okay, she can come the way she dresses, and she responded to me that she loves and respects her son, and her wish is to do what he would want, and she wouldn't do anything different. Grandma was always able to keep track of everyone's birthdays and everyone's spouse's birthdays, and we always knew that on our birthday, exactly our birthday, a card would be in the mail. She cherished each and every one of us and everything we made for her, and was very sentimental, saving every last card and every last project that anyone ever made for her. As the rabbi mentioned, that Grandma was very proud of all her kids because she was an only child, and she would always joke, "Not bad for an only child." As much as recently, Grandma would always be asking about when's the next wedding, when's the next bar mitzvah. She loved to party, and she loved to celebrate. When I think about Grandma, I think about Zadie. They were crazy about each other, and they were a role model for me of how a married couple, completely in love, looked. Even when we would go clothing shopping together, Zadie would always join her, despite the fact that he hates shopping. Grandma adored Zadie. The last time I saw Grandma was a few weeks ago on New Year's. I brought with me a potential suitor, and Grandma says to me, "He's very handsome, but not as handsome as my husband." She had a great spirit and a sense of humor, and we could always count on her to make us laugh. Chavarina and Menashe made a summer visit, and as Grandma was commenting on how the kids were so cute and so little, Menashe said to her, "Do you remember when your kids were this age?" And she said, "Nope, my kids were born adults." Grandma used to joke without Meryl that she's her favorite daughter. This morning when I was at the bagel shop, someone walked over to me and asked how the family was. And when I mentioned that my grandmother had passed away and I was heading to the funeral, he said, of course, comfort and good wishes to everybody, and then asked me how old she was when she died. And I said my grandmother was 39. For as long as I can remember, Grandma was 39. I'm not sure when she added 10 years, but I think it was in the more recent years when her kids were all above 50. And someone said something to her, but she wouldn't go above 49. This past year, when she went vegetable picking with Chav's kids, and they were all nudging her, saying, "Grandma, how could you be 49? It's not possible." She said, "Chavarina, you got smart kids, but I'm still 49. The last time I saw Grandma, I mentioned, "You're so lucky that you have Zadie. He's so dedicated. He's such a wonderful husband." And she said, "It's true, but I'm not as lucky as Zadie is." Grandma leaves behind a wonderful legacy, filled with love, filled with happy memories. I'm sure that I speak for all of us when I say that Grandma will forever be remembered and forever be loved.
Thank you, Leah. That was beautiful. We're going to call and speak, please.
once somebody had a family, many children, and finally he was expecting his first grandchild. And for whatever reason, it was important to him, he wanted to have a grandson. I don't know if he wanted to have a name for a previous family member or he wanted to continue his last name. He wanted a grandson. And it was a granddaughter. He was excited, she was healthy, he was happy, but a little bit frustrated. And he called his own mentor, his own rabbi, to give him the good news. He told him I had a granddaughter. And the rabbi in his wisdom detected a little bit of sadness. This man would have wanted a grandson. So he said to him, how do you say son in Yiddish? A zon. How do you say daughter in Yiddish? A tochter. How do you say grandson in Yiddish? An einikel. How about a granddaughter? Also einikel. He said a parent can sometimes want a son, sometimes want a daughter. For a grandparent, it's all the same. It's an einikel. If it's a grandson, it's a granddaughter. A healthy continuation, it's all the same. Grandmom took that a step further. There's grandsons, there's granddaughters. But she taught us that you can have what we call step-grandsons and step-granddaughters. And they're all the same. They're all treated equally. They're all loved equally. Our birthday she remembered exactly the same way. And all of our simchas, everything she participated in, we felt like there was no difference between any of us. Every simcha that we had, she was part of, calling us, so excited when I called with the good news when a child was born, sending us presents. I'll never forget, my first daughter was born. So she sent me a birthday present. She sent like a baby gift. Then I got a phone call 3 or 4 days later. She tells me, so Rachel, I'm making food now. I live too far away to help you get food. So I paid, the credit card's paid for already in a local restaurant. Delivery and the food is paid for. Go ahead and make yourself an order. And out of the box way of just helping us out. Realizing what we needed and how the best she can give to us. And we really felt like an animal, like there is no difference. We're now going to be escorting her on her way to the great banquet, the afterlife. And I know, we all know that when children do something for their parents or for their grandparents that are no longer with us, it's a merit for them. It raises them to higher and higher levels in the afterlife. Whether we give some charity, we're nice to somebody else. Kol Yisrael Yeshon Chel Ga'il Mabo. Everyone has their portion, their place in the afterlife. Dependent on how much good they did in this world. And she did so much good. So many people she encouraged. So much chesed she did for people. So many good, kind words. And each of them are worth millions out there. Every time a child or a grandchild does something, automatically that brings her soul higher. And I think that in the merit, and I'm sure it will be that way, that in the merit that she included us as part of our family without any differences, surely everything we do will be naturally added to her account. And I'd just like to end with a prayer to God. Each of us get a portion, a place, where our place is going to be. There's no cheating. We can't cheat up there. This is it. This is where we are. This is who we are. But in the merit that she expanded, she included and brought us in where we weren't deserving. We weren't really grandchildren. And yet we felt like it, and we really were treated that way. And we merited things that we're not grandchildren. But we all treat exactly the same. And we resolve that her wonderful portion should be extra and extra, millions and millions more, beyond what can be expected. Closer and closer to the throne of God, where she can send us down packages. And pray for us, those of us who need shidduchim, those of us that the extra cash, and everything else that we need in this world. And she should be a melas yesha for us. Mochash Dimno, now the Panamera, amen.
Thank you, Tzvi. Finally, we'll call on you, Shimon.
Mom, you were right. You always like to quote your father, Grandpa, who used to always say, "Nothing lasts forever, my kin." And you had a car delivery not too long ago, and you said that was also true. That everything is fine until it's not. Such a loss. Such a great loss for us. Loss to lose Mommy, to lose our mother, our grandmom, her Daddy, to lose his wife, his bride and his pride. For over 66 years, stood by his side, through everything, for us, and for so many people here, many who aren't here, and people that are elsewhere, to lose such a close friend, special friend, someone could confide in, just call to schmooze, someone to laugh with, maybe share some good news. Somebody made you feel so good about yourself. It's been said before. So good about yourself whenever you were around her, and even when you weren't around her. As was already mentioned, you would get a card from her on your birthday, your anniversary, always on time. Or just a note that said, "I hope that you're fine. All our love." You felt good. You felt good when you were around her. Does it feel good right now? It's okay to cry when something hurts you. And this hurts us very much. Our mom was a poet, and she let us all know it. So if I say this with rhyme, I hope you won't mind. I'm just trying to do what she'd enjoy best, and to help me express what's inside my chest. Mommy had so many good qualities, too many to list. We'll just say a few for which she'll be missed. She was so loving and giving and so personable. She was understanding and accepting and always helpful. When you needed to talk, she'd give you her ear. And when the time came to have fun, she'd add lots of cheer. She was clever and witty and quite funny too. And from her one-liners, you'd hear her point of view. But which trait was most special? The most special of all? That she made us feel so special, so handsome, so tall. She made us feel valued and hopeful, lifted up high. She made us feel cherished, the apple of her eye. To her we were so caring, so nice, so bright. We were also accomplished, at least in her sight. She was always so thankful for each small thing we'd done. Each ounce of kindness she'd see like a ton. My siblings and I might have felt this the most. What we were all doing gave her reason to boast. And even if often we were different than she just wanted us to be all we could be. She was so proud of us, our kids and their kids. To her, each one of us was really a whiz. And if she'd speak now, she'd say, I know that she would, for being an only child, I did pretty good. She was a wonderful mother, a terrific wife. Together with Daddy, they built a great life. Back in the day, she cooked up a storm. Family suppers were always the norm. On special occasions, or just for a treat, sometimes we'd all go out to eat. Else Sunday was knockwurst, hot dogs, baked beans if you please. But my favorite was her tuna casserole with mushrooms and cheese. The food was warm, with a love that would last. She complimented her efforts, saying, not bad for fast. She always looked nice. No mom could look better. She never missed a week without her hairdresser. We all knew it was okay not to ace every test, as long as she knew we were trying our best. But what was the dream of our great mother? That each one of us should look after the other. A huge part of Mom's life was to spend time with a friend. And the list of such folks seems to go on without end. I should mention each one, but it would take too much time. It would also be hard to do it in rhyme. Some live on Rolling Lane or elsewhere in Woodcrest. All of Mom's friends, they're really the best. But also with cousins and club pioneers. Mom kept up her friendships for so many years. Whether you knew her from Raytheon or elementary school class, most of Mom's friendships have tended to last. You know who you are, and that she put you on a throne. And when you feel that you miss her, you won't be alone. I told Dad I'd speak short. I really can't say all. But a few more points I do need to recall. Especially now with her neshama nearby, there are some things to add before saying goodbye. The first thing I say now, Mom, may make you feel blue, but it's one nonetheless that's, I think, important to do. For this one I speak not only for me, but also for all in your close-knit family. We all tried to help, we all have our list, but nearly for sure there was something we missed. We know you'll forgive us, you always do, but it's still the right thing to ask this one thing of you. You know we're not angels, remember we tried. From where we fell short, do not make us hide. As Mom now approaches her final station, I know that she feels so much appreciation. For all those that helped throughout the long ways, from home care and nursing to those hospital stays, from PT to OT, and those times when she fell, you all did your job exceedingly well. From feeding and cleaning and all the rest, she knew that all of you were doing your best. Again, I'm sorry to not list you by name, but to leave someone out would be such a shame. To Merrill and Dad, you did so much for Mom. And throughout everything, you You held on to your calm. You're both quite amazing. That's all I could say. In this hard situation, you two saved the day. To you, Mom says thank you for all that you do. She couldn't have managed without each one of you. Saying goodbye is so hard to do. Mommy, our mommy, love you. Tila Movis, Lanetza, Umacha, Adonai Elohim, Dama, Mikol, Me'al Kopanim. May we soon see the day when that is no more, and God wipe away the tears from every face.
Thank you, Platt, Tzvi, of course, Shimon. For those touching words of tribute to a wonderful woman, we will have the opportunity to share our own stories, reflections with the family, and to, of course, bring comfort to those who mourn. Immediately following our service here today, the interment will take place at Roosevelt Cemetery, and then the family will be returning to Rhoda's home, and we'll be having Shiva services at 7 o'clock tonight, Wednesday night, and Thursday night. Minyan will be at 7 p.m. at their home. I ask that you please rise now as Jeff leads us in the memorial prayers.
El Malay Rachamim, Shochen Bamromim, Hametzei Menucha Nechona, Tachat Kanfei Hashchina, Im Kiroshim Utehorim, Kizohar Harakia Mazirim, En Nishmat Rivka Bat Beryl V'Chava, Shehalcha Le'olama, Bal Harachamim Yasireha B'Seter Knafav Le'olamim, Vitror HaChaim Et Nishmata Adonai Hu Nachalata V'tanuach B'Shalom Al Mishkava V'nomar Amen.
O God, full of compassion, we pray that you grant perfect peace under the wings of your sheltering presence to the soul of Rhoda Schwartz, who has gone to her eternal home. Master of mercy, we beseech you, remember all the worthy and righteous deeds she performed as she graced this, the land of the living. May her soul thus be bound in the bond of eternal life. May she rest in peace. May her memory endure as a blessing. And together we say, Amen. You may be seated, please.
Another pallbearers, please. And I would ask that you rise once more, please.
Yes.
If you can see it, please. Ladies and gentlemen, I would ask you for kindly remain seated. This row, please. Please.
Don't worry about it.
Out of the doorway, please.
You got shoulders, everybody got something at a certain age. Kids are all good. Jacob's getting open for grandkids. I hear everything. I do.
Oh, right here.